in the previous section we discussed about the sex ratio, the age ratio. Now the second one is called the sex ratio, and we have looked at this before. And in the sex ratio, we actually said that we normally look at the population of the people. First of all, we can say of males from this particular age group, and the population of females on this particular age group multiplied by 100, where in this case 5pmx represent the males who are aged x and the x plus 5 interval period, and similarly 5pfx, it stands for female, and this particular female aged between this and this particular period. So this is the most important part. So we can actually say for age group, for those aged 5 to 9, we can actually say we've got male aged 5 to 9 over female aged 5 to 9, and this one you multiply by 100. So in the case you can be able to get what is called the sex ratio. Now example number 3, we have got what is called the joint score. Okay, so the joint score is given by the formula 3 times sex ratio score plus you actually say male and the female age ratio score. So this is actually the value that you can have, and when you do this, you calculate, you actually get the score, and that particular score you compare it by percentages. There is actually a score range which you can use now to interpret the values that you want to have. Like for example, if your joint score is less than 105 and more than if it's less than 105, or it's between 105 and 109, and the 110 and the 124, and the 125 to 175, and the 175 and higher. So you actually use this particular score to determine. So this is high accuracy, and this is fairly accuracy, this is approximate, this is rough, and I've skipped one. Yeah, so when it is 175 and higher, it is actually very rough. What you should do at this moment is you go in the book and check on the section on the indices, so that you can understand how some of the calculations they have been exemplified. So the other ratio which is actually used is called the Mayer index, and the other one is called the Wimple's index. So these are some of the two important tools that are used. So we have got the Mayer index, and we have got the Wimple's index. We've got the Mayer index and the Wimple's index. Now these two terminologies, the Mayer and the Wimple's, are actually used to determine the levels at which people can be described. Now what I want to do in this particular moment is to give you the reading assignment, where you should be able to select a friend, and after selecting a friend, you must be able to look at to discuss this process, Mayer index, and 1 and 2. You can be able to discuss Wimple's index, and with your colleague, and when you get that, I want you to use hypothetical data. Okay, to use hypothetical data, and similar to the one that is explained in table 3.6, and at the same time similar to the one which is represented in table 3.3. And then when you do that, I wanted you to use that particular table to actually calculate the Mayer index and the Wimple's index, and then after that you can be able with your colleague submit that particular work so that you can see how you have determined the values in that particular situation. Now, another way that I want us to move on is how can we graduate? How can we graduate population errors? How can we graduate population errors? So we have got three main processes of graduating, or sometimes it is called smoothing of data, which is made up of census and the survey data. So based on age distribution, so we can be able to actually do that. So there are three methods that are used. Now the first one is using what is called the graphical method. Now, so one can ask to say, why do we graduate? The process of graduating data is to make sure that all genuine inequalities and irregularities existing in the age composition are detected, so that whenever you're making your inferences, you have got a better inference and better results. And at the same time, you must be able to ensure that the data that you are using is a bit accurate, instead of making information based on the wrong data. That is why graduation of data is important. So we can graduate either using a graphical method, or the second one, which is called a smoothing error. It is called a smoothing error method, and this smoothing error method, we normally use it because people, they have digital preferences in specifying different ages that they have. Now, because of that, you want to collect it, so you collect it using that method. And the method, it uses what is called the moving averages. So it uses the moving average approach. So with your friend as well, I want you to actually check on the moving average process, so that we can actually see how you have understood it. And lastly, there is what is called a simple method, which is actually called Carrier-Farrag method of graduation. Now, so this Carrier-Farrag method, you have done mathematics for economics last semester. It is based on the mathematics which is known as difference equations. So it is based on the condition of difference equations. Okay, so I want now difference equations. It is actually an equation which can be represented by ui plus 1 is equal to ui, and then ui is, you can get it by taking a change in ui. So these equations, we actually call them as difference equations, because you are able to reach at this particular point because you have added a change in the ui, so that you can get ui plus 1. So I want, again, with your friend, to look at this Carrier-Farrag method of graduation and how it is applied in context. And at the end of it all, I want people now to actually work on question number 1 in the exercise. question number 1 in the exercise, question number 2 in the exercise, and as well you can jump and look at question number 6 in the exercise, question number 6. So number 3, you look at question number 6. Now these 3 questions, you are going to do it as individual, and the previous questions you are going to do them with a friend. So the deadline for this is 2 weeks from the date you get the assignment. So you must be able to take that note. And the method of submission, you must submit them as hard copy for those on campus, and for those that are off campus like ODL, you're going to submit using Moodle. I think by that date the Moodle is going to be working, and then we can upload our results. And you can actually find any distant friend as long as you are able to discuss the issues and then submit as a group. Otherwise, I thank you for your attention.